I'm using this under the Fair Use Act. I was going to give this video a different title, but I wanted to give it a homogeneous title so that I could attract Timothy Dixon's followers so they could see for themselves how easily they are deceived. So he did this video on March the 2nd. That'd be, an urgent prophetic word of the Lord that Ukraine shall be victorious. That was March the 2nd. And within less than 48 hours, literally less than 48 hours, March the 4th, prophecy fulfilled. Now, let me explain. I'm not going to burden you with the video with what he says, because again, I have dozens of videos proving that not a single prophecy Timothy Dixon has done has come to pass. Not one single prophecy has he had come to pass. And his followers, for those of you, you can check those videos out. I have. Or you can continue to be deceived by the false prophets, the false Trump prophets that were warned of in Scripture. These are the prophets that were warned of in Scripture, and I have absolute, unequivocal proof of that. Timothy Dixon, Kent Christmas, Hank Kuhnerman, all the Trump prophets are the prophets, the false prophets warned of. So let me explain. I'm going to explain to you, just give you a brief breakdown of what his prophecy was. That incredibly was fulfilled in less than 48 hours. So he declared, Ukraine shall be victorious, that a divine intervention from God would occur, and that two bright lights, which would be angels, would appear over some jets in the sky, some Russian jets, and there would be a divine intervention from God, and the war would suddenly end because Ukraine would win, based on this divine intervention. So, again, two bright lights. Oh, of course, also a blanket. These angels would create a blanket over Ukraine to protect it from any kind of attacks or anything like this. I mean, it was, if you want to, you could go look at the video. It's incredibly ridiculous. But, so what he did, and he took this clip from CBN News, and I had seen this clip. I actually commented on this video of CBN News. I commented what this person had actually witnessed, what these people had actually seen. But what he's doing is giving a third party detailed account of events that had occurred on CBN News. And again, prophecy fulfilled by Timothy Dixon. And I'm going to show you what had occurred. It wasn't two angels didn't appear in the heavens, as Timothy Dixon had said, but listen to what has occurred.
Have to pray right now. We're in a situation. So his father, he rings to other members of the church. They start praying, and then later, son gives a phone call, and he says, "There's some miracle happened. It looked like some spaceship. Like there was like an attack from the spaceship. There was some kind of a lightning was starting shooting from the sky, and like sparks were like spreading everywhere, and then they."
Okay, so they had seen some type of airship, clearly saw some type of a ship. So it was not two angels. There was no two bright lights, extremely bright lights that appeared in the heavens above Russian jets. But what he does explain is that it looked like thunderbolts, like lightning coming out the sky that destroyed these tanks and this military equipment. It looked like thunderbolts was the account, the third-party account that he's giving. There were thunderbolts coming out of the sky and sparks were flying everywhere. And they had never seen a ship like this. Well, yeah, I'm sure because America hadn't used their Thunderbolt in quite some time. Imagine that. they have not had to use their A-10 Warthog Thunderbolt in quite some time. And the reason it was given this name Thunderbolt, because it's 30 millimeter machine guns. When they fire those 30 millimeter machine guns at tanks, this is also the nickname given to this airship, this spaceship that they saw, is a tank buster. They call this thing a tank buster because it's specifically designed with these 30 millimeter cannons, machine gun cannons, to destroy tanks. Very specifically, and it was given the Thunderbolt, the name the Thunderbolt, because it looks like lightning. It has a lot of tracer rounds, and what he described, what was being described, was an A-10 Warthog Thunderbolt. Incredibly deceived, and let me explain this. This is just what's warned of in 2 Thessalonians Chapter 2, verses 9 through 11. These ones would have lying signs and wonders. Lying signs and wonders. There was no two angels that appeared in the heavens. And let me explain this too. So he gave this prophecy fulfilled within less than 48 hours. Let me tell you what actually occurred during that 48-hour period that Timothy Dixon would had said that Ukraine had gotten victory. Actually, Russia had seized another major city, and worse yet, they had actually seized the largest power plant over there, which means now Putin and Russia controls the power, even more power, by seizing and controlling that power plant. Little do people know that what Putin's doing, he's not carpet bombing, and he's not just declaring all-out war, because his thing is he just wants to take control and get Americans, the Western culture, out of his region. He just wants them out. He doesn't want to destroy Ukraine. He's doing very precise and very specific attacks to try to minimize casualties and keep the peace with Ukraine, with Ukrainian citizens. So he's doing very specific attacks just to keep control. He's not just all-out war. He doesn't want all-out war. He just wants the Western countries to get off of his borders and take their military equipment out of Ukraine. And this just further proves, let me explain this to you, Timothy Dixon, you false prophet. What happens when Russia, if this gets back to Putin, that the warthogs are in Ukraine destroying Russia's tanks? What do you think's going to happen when that gets back to Putin? He's going to send in his warplanes. He's going to send in, and guess what? He has some pretty incredible warplanes himself. He has some quite incredible superior Air Force himself. But he's not sent that in. But when he finds out that the warthogs are over there, he's going to know that Americans have secretly crept into Ukraine and are using their warthogs to destroy the tanks. He's going to know, because that's why it was called the Thunderbolt. These are tank busters. Very well known. That is their other nickname, the tank busters, because they were specifically designed to destroy tanks with their air superiority. But once again, Putin's got some quite incredible jets himself, you know. So there you go, Timothy Dixon idolaters and Trump worshipers. Another false prophecy given by Timothy Dixon. The war's not over, and this is what Timothy Dixon's prophecy was, that there would be an incredible move of God. Two angels would appear in the heavens as extremely bright lights, and it would occur during the day. Let me remind you of that. He said it would occur during the day. This event occurred during the night. Let me make sure that this event occurred at night. And the reason they're doing that at night also, because they don't want Russians to see this jet. They don't want Russians to report back to Putin that the warthogs in America are secretly in this war. Because guess what? If that gets back to Putin, he's going to send in more of his superior weaponry too. So, once again, Timothy Dixon idolaters and Trump worshipers, the false prophets warned of in Matthew chapter 24, verse 24, and the lying signs and wonders warned of in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 9 through 11. They are doing and after the works of Satan, showing lying signs and wonders. There's no truth to Timothy Dixon. It does not live in him at all. And this event that occurred does not match up with anything, nothing that was in this prophecy by Timothy Dixon. None of that matches up. So make sure you're aware that if you're a Timothy Dixon idolater, you're being deceived by the false prophet warned of in Scripture.